Oh, for real?
Yeah, no, because now we all one thing. You know what I'm saying?
We gotta do our handshake the whole time though. All right.
All right, go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Athletes Vision. I am Mike Nunnally.
And I'm Tyler Benson.
All right. This podcast is meant to bring you into the lives of these athletes around the world through the lives of sports.
Yeah, so through these podcasts, through these episodes, we're going to be kind of unveiling the stories of these athletes, kind of what they went through, trials and tribulations, and just kind of diving deep. But what we're going to start with today is this man's story, Mike's story. It's pretty crazy. But let's just start from the top. Like,
All right.
where are you from?
I'm from Danville, Virginia, Southern Virginia. Most people don't understand where that's at, but if you do, it's a place where, you know, a lot of athletes are made, a lot of athletes are built, but it's also a place where, you know, you can become the best version of yourself if you know how to keep going.
Facts. I know growing up you played all kinds of sports. Like, just kind of give them a rundown of like all the sports you played.
Man, I played a ton of sports, but, you know, before I get into the sports, you know, the reason why, you know, I think, you know, I want to share my story with a lot of you guys is for a couple of different reasons. Coach Tyler, I call him Coach Tyler, you know, and you heard him say Tyler Benson, but TB over here, you know, like these young athletes that's completely, you know, that I dive into their stories and try to help them be the best version of themselves. And I had to do it for myself, right? Because I didn't have this when I was younger. Yeah. So, you know, you're going to hear a lot of people say that, but this is really true where I'm from. So, like the sports that I play, I ain't had no choice but to play sports growing up, right? I ain't had no choice, TB, you know? So, I mean, I played every sport from baseball, football, basketball, wrestling, you know, and I ran track as well. So, every sport that I played, and I think it, you know, it helped me navigate to where I'm at right now.
Facts. No, that's tough. So growing up, right? It was a lot of you running around down there, right?
Yeah, man. It was a lot of us, man. It was a lot of us, man. My grandfather, you know, was a great man, but he had a lot of kids. You know what I mean? Like, if you can see, it's funny that I say that, as you can see right now. I named this bar. It's called Sunny Boys. This is how you're going to get really into the stories of us right now. So, as you can see, all of those grand boys right there, you know, a couple of them missing. But those grand boys right there is the reason why, you know, we continue to push the way we move. And my older brother, Tyrone, is the ringleader. And then followed by my cousin, Erg, that's not in the picture. And then followed behind with me. So we're the three oldest grandsons. So it's a lot of us. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah. So how did that like growing up with all of them, right? Like, how'd that competition go? Like, how did y'all all play sports together? Like, what was that vibe?
Yeah. So my older brother Ty is like he's 3 years older than us, right? So we never really played in our own age, right? Because we wanted to run with the big boys, and you know, we were small guys. Like, I was a smaller guy, so trying to run with the bigger guys was difficult. Yeah. Right. So we competed at a level that a lot of people don't know how to compete at. Right. Yeah. So, you know, 9 grand boys being there first, all around the same ages. It was really, 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 really competitive in our house. So, like, we never wanted one to be better than the next. So we continue how to make sure no outsider can be better than us.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that breeds the kind of competition that you're not gonna get just anywhere else. Like, that's like a family bond. It's like, it's like crazy. It's unbreakable.
I mean, we call Nunn. We Nunn boys, man. Like, our first 4 letters, our last name is Nunn. Yeah. So we call ourselves the Nunn boys. You know.
Yeah. So dive into your sports exactly in high school a little bit. So, like, you know, what were your favorite sports? What kinds of things did you excel at? Like, what were your, I guess, accolades in high school?
It's crazy, man. Like, I mean, truth be told, I thought I was one of the best football players to come out of my hometown, right? You know, but I was undersized.
I got you.
But I never let that stop me. I taught myself, you know, how to be, you know, how to play every position. Yeah. Right. So from quarterback to running back to receiver to linebacker to safety to corner. You know, I try to teach myself to play a position in football. I would say football was my best sport, but I knew it wasn't.
Yeah, right? I got you.
So wrestling was my best sport. Right? It's crazy because, like, didn't know that I'd get into wrestling, but my older brother, like I said, you know, you probably heard me refer back to him a lot through my journey, because without him, my journey is not where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So wrestling was who I was.
I got you.
Right? Yeah. And then playing baseball, my uncle John, you know, he played pro baseball. So, you know, picture growing up and you got someone that's, you know, just making them go and play pro baseball. Yeah. And you got a lot of shoes to fill, right? If you want to be able to be a professional athlete, you know. So but not only that, you know, I played basketball growing up. I mean, you know, AAU, we did it all, you know, but it was real competitive back home for every sport. And then running track, you know, I mean, that was a given.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah, so like go back to football, right? Like you said, you're undersized.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're undersized for their sport, or they kind of like, cool, like, oh, you're never gonna be tall enough to play this sport, or you're never gonna be able to make it to this next level because you like physically, like you're not. So talk a little bit about that and that mentality that you pushed past that, because just talk about that mentality.
Well, I had no choice.
Yeah,
you know, like I always tell people, you know, like your size shouldn't stop you for competing.
Nah.
Right? It shouldn't turn you away from the competition.
Yeah.
It shouldn't make you run from, you know, any challenges. You know, it's gonna be some times where you get knocked down, but you had to get back up, right? So I had to use that as fire, right? Yeah. So for me, I use it as fire.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting out there every day with my uncles, right? My uncle Earl, probably he boxed.
I got
you know,
yeah.
Play sports. My uncle Nunnally, all them, my uncles, they played a lot of the sports, you know. So just using those guys and diving into letting them understand who I was, you know, trying to figure out who I was, because each of my uncles is a piece of me.
I got you.
So
I feel that,
and I use that being undersized in football, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to be the hardest hitter, you know. So undersized, you know, back then. Go back to just say 9th grade, right? 9th grade, I weighed 95 pounds. Right?
Blow away in the wind type.
Yeah, man. I weighed 95 pounds, man. It was insane. So, but I was probably the strongest 95 pounds guy you ever seen.
Facts.
Right? I was fast. I was strong. I have no choice, man. Like I grew up in like I said, I grew up in Danville, but also where I really grew up, it's called Whitetown.
I got you.
Where it was the country with my grandfather. He had a lot of land out there. And that's where we end up understanding how to compete. The backyard, right? That backyard, you know, when we was kids, man, felt like it was the biggest backyard ever.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where we got out there. Anybody we had so many cousins, so many friends in the neighborhood that had come there and try to compete against us.
Yeah.
And we wanted to compete against each other, so we jumped on other teams.
I got you.
Right?
Yeah,
I said it wasn't fair. We was like, man, it ain't fair for all us on the same team. So we competed against each other. Like it was never an easy out. You know what I'm saying? So man.
No, I mean that, and I think for a lot of the kids watching these days, like, that's a perfect example of like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right?
Correct.
Like, again, you're undersized, but you're out there working every single day with your uncles, with your family, and like really grinding. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like, okay, cool, like you could be tall, like you could be like you always say, like 6'6", 250, right?
Hey, I'm 6'6", 250.
You know what I'm saying? But like if you like, you could be that, and then you go on the field and you're already gonna have a leg up. Like 6'6", 250, cool. I don't really gotta work that hard.
Correct.
But imagine that 6'6", 250 person worked as hard as you did.
Correct.
Oh my God, like they'd be in the league, like
Correct.
no question, they'd be number one in the league type beat. So I feel like again, that always hits home with me is too, is like that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Like I think that's a really important lesson that kids need to know. Correct. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's I personally think that's the perfect example of that.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess in a nutshell, man, that's who pushed me to this person. So like my journey was completely different, right? I'm not gonna I tell my younger brother's journey.
Yeah.
I can tell his story,
yeah.
you know, but it's his story to be told, right?
I feel
but
that.
just to give you a glimpse of what it was, you know, like, you know, growing up in sports, you know, like, I mean, I started training my family and people in the neighborhood that wanted to work when I was 9 years old.
Yep.
Most people might say, oh, he's just capping. Like, you can ask anybody. If you understand why my younger brother's journey, you understand the reason why I dived into what I dived into. And and that made me understand, you know, like, ain't nothing easy.
Yep.
Right? But it's not going to be easy even if you work hard.
Facts.
Right? Because there's people out here.
Yep.
It's someone that's out there better than you.
Oh,
you know
100%.
what I'm saying? You
yeah.
already know that.
You got to know that.
So,
yeah.
And you know us, man, like, you know, our mentalities and our work ethic is something that try to set us apart, right? But
Facts.
it's funny, when I was younger, I was more athletic than a lot of people, so I didn't really have a work ethic.
I feel you.
I just went in the backyard, right?
I got you. Yeah, I feel you.
In today's time, you don't go in the backyard, right? So I went in the backyard and just competed.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just grind it down. Like, I'm out there from sunset, you know,
sun up, sundown,
sun up, sundown, man.
Yeah,
so I'm out there grinding. So and it made me push more.
I got
you. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Talk a little bit about, because you brought this up to me before, but like you said, like you started training people when you were 9 years old. Like you were a mentor at 9 years old, right? It's kind of ingrained in you. It's like what you do. Like I know you're talking about like your brother's journey, but like what got you, like why did you want to do that?
When you were told at a young age that, you know, like you're not going to be, so this is what was told to me when I was younger, right? So they told me when I was young I would never be as good as my older brother, and I would never be as talented as my youngest brother, right? Yeah. So like we was really, really competitive, right? Yeah, so when somebody tell you that, right? Somebody come out and tell you you're not gonna be as talented as them, you're not gonna be as good as them, and in yourself, you like, wait a minute, we do this together. Facts. You know, we gonna compete, but it ain't 3 numb boys you're gonna get out there, you're gonna see, you know, that ain't gonna challenge each other. You know, you ain't gonna, we competed. Facts. You know what I mean? Hands down, we competed. So I took it on that. When my younger brother got, like I said, it's his story, but he got ran over by a round lawnmower when he was 8, like 7 years old, 8 years old, right? Cut his calf muscle in half. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he couldn't walk. You know what I mean? So couldn't walk. He couldn't do none of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know, had like, you know, blood got infected just you know, just the grass and all that stuff, all the fertilizers, things like that. So, you know, I took it upon myself, man. Like, you know, once they said, hey, you're gonna be down for a while. Yeah, like, nah. I was like, wait a minute, man. Like, we do this together. Facts. You know, got the wagon. Yeah. Hooked the wagon up to the bike. I go wherever I go, he go. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, that. I'm out, he gone. Like, so him and I both, you know, and then my cousin Jermaine, you know, like we always in there together. So my cousin Jermaine lived on the north side, right? So he lived in you know, and we would just grind it differently, you know. So and we were just trying to tell everybody, you know, like, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Let's get out here and work. We out in front of my Aunt Jen's yard, my grandmother's yard, you know. Yeah, we out there just beating each other. It's sticker bar bushes. It's, you know, it's horseshoes in the ground, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, hey, you get hit, you better move, you know what I'm saying? So it was things like that and I was like, hey, how can we move, right? Then my uncles gonna come out there and go like, yeah, we ain't gonna ease up on y'all. Like, they taught us how to be grown men at a young age, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. So like, that's when I really, you know, tapped into me at that age, right? Yeah. You know, just trying to develop myself. And I said, if I can help somebody else, I can help myself. Yeah, I got you. So that's what that's why I felt that love for, just making sure my younger brother got back to who he wanted to be. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's facts. Yeah, that's something that that people mention a lot, is like, especially like when you're teaching, you're growing, right? Mm-hmm. If you can teach it, if you can be a teacher, be a mentor, like, you growing yourself in a different way. It's a different growth, but like, it's definitely that same type of growth. So again, like in high school, like, again, you did a ton of sports. Yeah. You were top dog in a lot of those sports, just off your work ethic. But I think there's a story with your football team, your freshman year or something like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So like, it's funny because, like, you know, I tell you I was a top dog, right? You know, but undersized don't make you the top dog. Facts. You know, like, and we had guys out there, you know, like, that was crazy. My cousin Ricky Settle, like, all of them boys was just that much. They was bigger than us. They can run just as fast as we ran. You know what I mean? So you had to do something different. Yeah, you got to be different. You know, my 9th grade year, you know, my name is on the board to get cut. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, wait a minute, I just came from North Carolina schools. Yeah. You know, like 2 years ago, I was the top dog. Like, I was like, Facts. I'm out there with our team. You know, our team is Abbott. Him and I, we killing it. Yeah. Right. And they just like, I'm like, let me go over here and challenge myself. You know what I mean? So North Carolina sports, I'm not gonna say that I thought it was like a little bit easier at the time, but it was more. It was like schools that had an extra school. I got you. Yep. In Danville, it was one school. Yeah, everybody GW. Was there. Yeah. GW Danville. When we grew up, it was GW Danville. Yeah. It wasn't these other schools. They was there, but it was GW Danville. Yeah. And everybody wanted to go there to play sports. Yeah. You know what I mean? But in high school, man, like I said, my 9th grade junior football, man, like, you know, I'm on the chopping blocks. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, I'm right there on the chopping blocks, and I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, you know, and then my older brother was just like, yo, what's my brother's name over there? You know what I'm saying? It's, oh, no, he got another year, you know. And I'm like, what? I don't have another year. You know? We going right now. So, and then they was just like, pretty much told him, he was like, well, what can your brother play? He can play whatever position you put him at. He wants to play, you know. And the coach came out there, you know, Coach Hanna was like, yo, look, your brother said you can do every position. I can't, coach. Now show me. So I had to get out there and compete against everybody.
Yeah.
You know, quarterback, running back, receiver, DB, linebacker. It didn't matter. I just had to compete undersized. Like I told you, freshman year, 95 pounds.
That's crazy, bro.
You know what I mean? So, but I gained my respect, you know, from my peers. Yeah. You know, just based off of like I didn't give up. Yeah. Right. You know, and going into that year, you know, not knowing that, you know, you were someone that wasn't going to be on the roster of 50 kids. You know what I mean? So it was 50 other people they felt that was better than me. You know, so after my 9th grade year, I took pride to saying that would never happen to me again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And, you know, you get to that point where, you know, how can you handle it? You know what I mean? So I handle it differently. I got the opportunity because you never know if you're going to get that same opportunity again. So my freshman year was really, really, really challenging me in a sport that I said that I felt that was my best sport. You know what I mean? But I took it out on everybody. You know what I mean? Like everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got, you know, got better. Yeah. Right. So, yeah.
Nah, and then I'm just pivot through all your sports in high school because again, you played so many. Like again, wrestling, right?
Yeah, man. So wrestling was I mean, everybody in Danville know that, you know, Mike was one of the best wrestlers to come out of GW. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I broke every record. That's tough. Records I broke was my brother's. You get what I'm saying?
Those are the best ones to break. I feel that,
and I didn't break one. He got one record, man. Tyrone, man, like, you know, like I love you, dude. But I didn't want to share a record with you. You know what I'm saying? So that record, man, that he was 4 district champions. They actually made a rule after him, you know, in wrestling. It was called the Nunnally rule. Because he ended up having surgery on his knee his senior year, and he didn't wrestle at all. And so I'm a freshman. He comes in, and they made him the 4th seed. And when they made him the 4th seed, he beat the number 1 seed, right? And then when I saw that, I'm like, this is real. Like, they set themselves up. So I was like, yeah, I'm going after everybody after this. I ain't losing ever again. You know what I mean? That's how I thought. I'm like, you know, and then my mentality just ended up kicking in. Like, you know, I could compete. So every day in practice, I saw my brother go from wrestling the 103 weight class up to the 275 weight class, and he didn't lose. Right. Yeah, so I was just like, all right, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do the same thing. Right. I'm going to be this 95 pounds. Yeah. And then, you know, they was all seniors. So I go and wrestle against the 103, the 112, the 119, you know, the 125, and then the 130. When I got the 140, you know, it got challenging. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, boom. And then we had some guys that was dogs from 119 to 171. We had some dogs. Right. Yeah. But I was like, nah, ain't none of them better than me. You know, and so none of them better than me. But my brother got right there, and he was just every time he didn't take it easy on me. Boom, in front of everybody. He had to be the big dog, man. Yeah. He had to like boom, slam me, and I was just like, I'm coming back. So I kept coming back, and it made people respect me for doing that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So wrestling, man, that was pretty much my best sport, man. Yeah. You know, I had a ton of scholarships for wrestling coming out of high school. Didn't take none of them, but I had a ton of them. You know what I mean? You know, my journey was a little different. You know what I mean? So,
different path. Yeah. That's the other thing too is like everybody's path is different. Everybody's path to what they do next, right? In college or wherever is different. Mm-hmm. So pivoting a little bit to that next level, you ended up going to George Mason.
Correct.
There's the football helmet right there.
You see it, man.
So talk a little bit about that and how you got there and what that looked like.
It's funny, man. Like, you know, I spent 21 years in Danville, man. Like, I put 21 years in Danville. Like I said, I didn't go to college right off. Got an opportunity. You know, I needed to change the scenery, right? Yeah. You know, growing up, you know, where we from, and it's difficult to make it out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, every young man that's down there that's actually grinding and trying to do your thing, don't settle, man. Like, you know, I've been in your shoes. You know, those streets are not the same when I was down there, but those streets still can, you know, make it difficult for you to live up to your potential. So I had to be able to get out. So 21 years I put down there, and I got the opportunity, right? So my mother was like, you know, called my brother and was like, hey, he need to leave, right? He needs something new. Yeah. I didn't want to leave, you know? I feel that. So I ended up coming up to George Mason and in 2003, and when I got there, it was just me, just a job. Mm-hmm. You know, it was just a job. I was just working. Yeah. And then I got out there, and they was like, hey, man, come out here and play like in this flag football league. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, man, like, then nobody know me, right? Yeah. So I'm out here, and I get up here, I get to make a name for myself brand new you know what I mean?
Nobody knows you.
Nobody know me, so I get out here, and we get in playing. Big shout outs to Paul Vizion, man. Like, he, does a heck of a job, man, running the competitive sports over at George Mason. And bringing someone that just given a job and being able to get out there and just showcase his talent, man, was something that I really enjoyed. So I got out there, man, boom, as soon as I stepped out there, I let them know that I wanted to be the fastest. I wanted to be the best at that position out there, but I ran up against a couple of guys that was dogs too, and I had to respect them. I was like, yo, and it's funny because those guys that I ran into, we became brothers. You get what I'm saying? Facts. So like, Dennis Johnson and Ray McCarter, man, RIP to Ray McCarter, man, one of the best football players that I think that I ever played with. Yeah. You know what I mean? His life was taken too soon. You know what I mean? But one of my really, really good brothers, you know what I'm saying, out down the field. And like I said, we grinded so tough, man. So which led to me, enrolling into the school in 2004. Yeah. Right. So I got to the school in 2004, and when I got into the school, I was in the extended studies program. So I was taking classes, and I was allowed to play football there. Right. Yeah. And when I got there and I'm out there, my brother is actually graduating college. He already graduated college, and he was like, "Yo, man, you gonna do your thing?" I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna do my thing, man." And then it's funny because the first episode we had was with Noah Kim. Yep. We was talking about one of the injuries that he had. So, and it's funny because I had the hip injury, so played 2 games, 3rd game of the season. Ray he had missed practice 2 days, and then Coach Morse come up to me and say, "Hey, Mike, you running the play?" Yeah. And I'm like, this is my time. I've never ran it in practice. Didn't do none of that. All right. I'm just do it. The field was like saturated. It was like, just had put new turf down and stuff like that. So I get out there and I catch a screen. I run into the middle. And all I kept hearing my coach say is, "Hey, get in, get out." Yeah. Get in, get out. Yeah. Yeah. I got in. I ain't never get out. I ain't never get out. So I got hit, boom, ran the linebacker over, but I tried to spin and my leg got stuck in the ground. Yeah. So leg got stuck in the ground and everybody started piling up on top of me. And then I try to stand up and my quarterback, BJ Quigley, man, he stands up and he looking at me yelling. Ah. I'm like, "What you yelling for?" Then I look to the side, my leg out this way like this. It was crazy. My leg is out crazy like this, right? So and I'm like, "Man, this is crazy." Yeah. So I laid on the field and my brother ain't in my game. Like my big brother's not in my game. He was ready to park to be there. And all the other his friends, they called him. They said, "Yo, man, your brother hurt." I said, "Man, what you mean hurt?" So I'm out there, my leg is all out, man. It was crazy. I thought that I would never do anything ever again when sports related. Yeah. So so now that's how really my journey started. Yeah. Me in college. Yeah. So because I had to do a whole different type of thing, you know what I mean? Like they wanted to cut me from here to here without scoping me. So I ended up going and get my surgery done down at UVA. Yeah. And the doctors them did a heck of a job, getting the chip bone that was out of my swing joint. And the doctor told me it was going to take me 1.5 years to recover. It's funny, man. Like I looked at my older brother. I was weighing about 140 pounds. Yeah. And it's funny because I said the same thing about Noah, right?
Yeah, same exact thing about Noah, bro.
I was weighing like 140 pounds, man. And but I was 5'7", you know what I mean? So, and I looked at my brother and I said, "I'm going to gain 45 pounds in 3 months." He looked at me, he goes, "No, you not." He said, "You don't take the weight room serious." Yeah. He said, you just thrived off of just your God-given talents. Yeah. I said 40 pounds, 45 pounds. Bet. So I grind, man. So the doctor went back to the doctor in 3 months. I'm jogging. I'm 20 pounds heavier. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I go see him in the next month. I'm 40 pounds heavier. I'm like 185, 190. It's crazy, bro. And feeling myself. You know what I mean? I'm feeling myself, man. But I was also spring, though. Yeah. I played spring league. Yeah. And my brother came back to play with me. He was like, "I'm going to come back and play with you."
That's tough.
Yeah, he came back to play with me, man. And I hadn't been hit. You know what I mean? So I caught a hitch route, boom. And I went and I closed my eyes. Yeah, just closed my eyes like this. And all I heard his voice, "Keep running." You know what I'm saying? And then, boom, he hit me. He picked me up through 3 people. Boom. And I just ran. I was like, I'm good now.
I'm good now.
I needed
get that one hit.
I needed that one hit out the way, man. So that's how my journey, kind of got me to where I'm at, man. I think I did, I competed my tail off, man, at Mason on the football field. You know what I mean? Like, the football may go unnoticed there, man, but it's a sport that, a lot of kids, it's an opportunity for you to go to still continue to play. Yeah, right? But it's a great opportunity.
Well, I mean, talk about it. So George Mason is a D1 school, but doesn't have a football team, but it has a club football team.
Has a club football team.
But y'all still traveled. Y'all still played other schools. Like, talk about that.
Yeah. So we traveled, man. We played against, like St. Paul, Shaw University, Jacksonville. We played against Tuskegee. Tuskegee was a dog, but we played against all of them. We played against Clark Atlanta.
Yeah.
We played against a lot of the HBCU schools during my time there. We played against Georgetown. Yeah. We played against Bridgewater, Wesley College. We competed because we was up under athletics, right? Yeah. And now it made it easier for the travels because the funding was different, right?
Yeah.
If any funding happens, like it's supposed to with club sports, those sports and these athletes it's going to build the athletic program even more, right? Because these students want something to continue to keep doing. They Absolutely. Might. So yeah, you're right. So the competition was crazy for us, right? Yeah. Insane crazy, and I wanted to like continue to build on that, right? Yeah. Continue to let these young people know that just because it's a club in front of that team, doesn't mean you have to carry yourself like a club player. Nah. We did. Yeah. We did, man. We got out here and we competed every single day, and it made us, continue to go out here and off-season workouts and grind. We out here competing against, some guys that play in the league, right? Yeah. But we wanted that task, right? Yeah. Yeah. So
that's tough.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing about club sports too, is like not everybody's path is going to be a D1 team or a D2 or D3 team, facts. Right? Like and those club sports, like I know, like I have friends that play at VCU club soccer there. And like they have 200, 300 people going out to try out for those club teams. It's like, yeah, it's not technically like all right, the D1 team, but like it's still good, and you're still traveling, you're still doing all those things. Yeah. So it's definitely like if you don't want to overly commit to a D1 team or something like that, like that's still an option. Like and there's more sports that, like, again, you got to play football at Mason. You didn't have football.
Well, I mean, it's like this, it's funny because it's schools out here that the kids are really in school. I'm not gonna say every athlete is not in school academically. Yeah, right. But,
I got you. Yeah.
But some of these kids, that's these young men, young women that's going to school. Yeah. Academics is their priority. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So they giving up going to a D2 or D3 school to play. Yeah. They going to this, D1 school to just academically just like, hey, I got to do what I got to do. Like, hey, my time was over. So that's what, I think George Mason is doing a heck of a job at with the club sports. Yeah. Like that. It's the athletes that's in club sports doubles. Yeah. Like it's crazy. It doubles them. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different other opportunities. You know what I mean? And those kids don't feel like a lot of pressure. Yeah. They get to still do their schoolwork. Yep. You know what I mean? They get to come out. They're not practicing every day, but it's not saying that work ethic is not an everyday practice. You know what I mean? So I think that's what helped me, right? Yeah. But that's what helped us, right? We was running it like a D1 program. Facts. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's facts. Like, that's and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, and that speaks to it. Like again, like if the mentality is there on the team, like you guys had, like it don't matter if it's D1 or club. Like, it doesn't matter. It's real. Regardless, it's real. I mean, so that's tough. Yeah. All right. So then moving on to the next phase of, I guess, your life, right? Is really mentorship. And like, just so y'all know, like when I came into Mason, like he took me under his wing immediately. My freshman year, I worked for him, but like it was more than that. It was mentorship. It was like he's one of the best dudes I know. Like I appreciate, like that, hands down. I appreciate that, man. And so like. The mentorship piece for you, I've seen you do it time and time again. Anybody that really kind of comes into your world, your life, especially athletes, younger kids, like you make it your mission to make them the best versions of themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big reason why this podcast is here too, correct, is to kind of amplify their voices. But like you help them behind the scenes get to a point that they don't even realize they can get to, right? Yeah. Like with the last episode with Noah, right? Like, without you, like Noah, yeah, absolutely work ethic, but without you in his corner that entire time, like with him, like just like you do with your younger brother, like it's just kind of ingrained in you. So like what does that mean to you? Like, I guess like we talked a little bit about why you got into it, right? Like you're not letting anybody go by themselves. Like you were always there, but like now, like what keeps motivating you? What keeps driving you for this?
It's crazy, man. Y'all, like, you know what I mean? I know that might sound kind of cliche, but when you want to help someone, just strive for greatness, right? Just be just even if it's they continue to play on any level of sports, right? If they know that they got someone that's going to be like, hey, look, it's going to be tough,
Yeah.
right? But let me let you know, if you work this way,
Yeah.
right, we can cut some of those tough roads down.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And because, like I said, Danville, Virginia, let me just say that just like that, right? It was only tough roads.
Yeah, facts.
It was only tough roads.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't no easy route.
Yeah, there's no way.
You know, it wasn't, you know, we didn't have funding.
Yeah.
You know, so one of the reasons why I think I continue to do what I do, like I said, I never thought that I'd be in a position to be helping people that didn't need me financially.
I got you.
You know,
I feel you. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So like, I growing up, I'm like, if I do this, like, I gotta help these kids or help these kids that just financially can't.
Yeah,
they can't pay for this, and this.
Yeah.
You know, they can't pay for this training. So, you know, in 2005, I'm gonna say 2005, you know, after I got hurt, like coming back off of that, you know, trying to get back into Mason. It took 2 years for them to let me back into school. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So after my injury, they was just like, oh no. Yeah. So they didn't. I had to fight for 2 years. Big shout out to Kevin Holmes. Kevin Holmes, man, did a heck of a job, you know, giving me an opportunity and helping me, you know, navigate the way for me to get back into Mason. Yeah. Right. And I wouldn't be able to be an alumni at George Mason without the guidance of him, Dennis Johnson, you know, my brother Tyrone, you know, Dwayne Punter. All those guys was they set the precedents for me.
I got you.
Right. Yeah. So, and I never let that go unnoticed.
I feel that.
You know, I never let it go unnoticed. So I was like, I'm not going to let none of these athletes' talents or their skill sets go unnoticed. I feel that. You know, you might not be the best. Yeah. But we're going to play against the best. Yeah, fact. You're going to compete against the best. Yeah. So when they become to like just being a mentor to them, you you always wanted one when you was a kid. Yeah. You know, like, so I always wanted a mentor when I was a kid. Yeah. You know, I was just like, man, wait, if I had that. Yeah. What if I had a Tyler Benson or a Mike Nunnally or a Tyrone Nunnally in your corner? Yeah. What if I had somebody like that in my corner? Like, what kind of athlete would I have been?
Yeah. How much farther could you go?
Farther. Yeah. So because so I do what I do because of my family.
I got you.
You know, my family, those young men and the women that's in our family too. You know, the women in our family is the strongest ones, right? So the reason why I really do what I do, and I love this lady to death, man. It's my younger sister, right? Yeah. My younger sister, man, is my world, right? You know, I really, really was there to like try to navigate her all the time. Like, you know, she the female version of me, right? Yeah, and I got daughters, so I got four daughters, right? And then my sister got 3 boys, right? Yeah. So she got all the boys, I got all the girls. And then, you know, and I say the same thing about my daughter, right? So my daughter, you know, has some type of similarities of my sister. Yeah. So, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm like, dang, how do you have the same things as my sister, just athletically and stuff like that. My younger sister was one of the most athletic women that come out of our hometown too. Yeah. But stopped playing sports after 9th grade. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you. Yeah.
Because it wasn't her journey no more. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I never wanted anybody to stop.
I got you.
You get what I'm saying? So now it's just leading to what I am. So my younger brother, my younger sister, you know, their journey to trying to get where they wanted to go, you know, when things got in the way, you know, I said, I never want somebody to say, what if? Yeah. You know, what if I would have tried this? Yeah. What if I'd have tried that? So I took the what if from people and said, let's do.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Tough. That's hard. That's hard. That's tough. Yeah. So like at Mason, right? Like then you ended up being involved in athletics at Mason for a very long time. I mean, that's how we crossed paths.
19 years, man.
Like it's crazy.
19 years.
And I can like again, I can only speak from my experience, like again, being mentored by you, but like, I mean, you literally was like, you were in the field house helping everybody that's in there that comes through there. You just chopping it up with everybody and just like it's crazy to see how much you care about every individual athlete, like and how you relate to them. And it's special. It's unique. Not a lot of people have that trait. Correct. And it's helped me a ton while I was in school, and I know it's helped a lot of other people as well. Yeah. So that kind of thing is like, it's definitely huge. It's definitely a trait, and a lot of people have benefited from you and from that passion that you have to help them get better. And so, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, T, man. Like, you know, being in athletics as long as I was, you know, because I'm no longer in athletics. I work over at the Mason, the rec.
Yeah.
I'm on the rec side now. So I made the switch, you know, for professional growth.
Yeah.
So I made that switch to go over there, right? And,
Yeah.
you know, it's been a great opportunity for me being over there, right? Learning so much more, you know, being up under the supervision that I'm up under. You know, I think that it's navigating me to be able to continue to help, right?
Exactly.
The community, you know. So, I mean, that's what I do it for, right? So, and for me to look at it, I look at it in a couple of different ways, right? You know, a task was put on me when we crossed paths, right? You know, my younger brother, Nick Shrink, man, with Athletic Union, man. Yeah. That guy, you know, came to me, you know, your freshman year of high school, right? He's like, hey, I want you to look out for this guy. And I was like, all right. I mean, who is he? Yeah. You know, he's like, you'll see him. And then your sophomore, junior year, he's like, the kid's special. Yeah. The kid's going, hey, he's special. So I was like, all right. So as soon as now you come into Mason, he was like, you got to take care of it. But I was already doing that for any other athletes that was there on the basketball team, soccer team, you know, volleyball, track, softball. It didn't matter, right? I was just invested. Yeah. I was invested to make sure because, like I said, you know, my daughters, you know, I'm raising young queens, right? Yeah. I'm 4 young queens I'm raising, right? Yeah. I got a saying that says, you know, how can I lose with the hand I'm dealt? Yeah. I got 4 queens and my wife is my wild card, man. She's everything in the world to me. You know what I'm saying? So she allows me to navigate like I want, right? Yeah. So why not go get what you know? Go out here and help these young men, young women be successful. Yeah. If it's continue to play on a college level or just in high school, you know, you want to be recognized on being an athlete in high school. Like, let's do it. Yeah, you know, the work is good. That's why I said in our last episode, and you're gonna hear me say this a lot throughout this whole podcast, man. I'm a rave about a lot of different things that we have been able to accomplish, and this platform is gonna allow us to do that. You know, so Second to None Sports, man, is continue to grow. It's gonna be one of the top platforms in the next 5 years, right? Because we don't settle. Right, we not afraid of being in uncomfortable situations. You know, we're gonna lose more kids than we gain, but those kids that we lose, we're gonna make sure that they leave. You know, our imprint was stamped on them, so they know that we cared. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's why, you know, I think that I do what I do, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do T.
Yeah, and we'll wrap soon, but like that Second to None, right? Talk about that, okay? Because like when I came to Mason, that was one of the first things you brought me into, the Second to None, and it was a small little gym at that point, tiny little thing, but the quality that you got out of that, because like one of the things that I coach and I bring my girls in there, but one of the things that I sold them on was like they don't like it's not just building the physical attributes of the athletes, the mental piece, and that is the most important piece. The most important. Every sport is mental. It's like 70% mental. Yeah, it's the most important piece. So like talk about like Second to None and how that's grown over the past like
so like I said, Second to None. You know, my brother Tyrone was able to to start the nonprofit. You know, years ago. You know, about 8 years ago. He started it based off of my uncle. Playing pro ball, baseball, being able to help these athletes around here not get, some of the kids is getting cut, right? Yeah. So we technically don't go after we don't go after superstars, right? Nah. It's not our goal. Hey, we want this, right? Yeah, no. We want the kids that, might have got cut, right? But want to work, right? Yeah. And then we might get the athletes that didn't get cut so we can teach them how to work. Yeah. Right. So Second to None, it's crazy because Second to None is what we've been doing. We've been building that since I was like 16. Little, bro. I was like 16. We've been building that since I was 16, and we always said that we're gonna one day own our own facility. Yeah. Right. And that's the number one mission, to own our own facility, so we're able to continue to help the community. Yeah. So Second to None for me, and I came into it. My brother, went on a limb, man. He was like, "Hey, I'm doing it, bro." Yeah. He said, "I'm ready to give these kids, man, an opportunity." And I was like, "Yo, look, whatever you do, I got your back." Yeah. I was already out here, like I told y'all in the podcast, the first podcast, and I don't think I explained it enough. I am the head coach over at Brentsville District High School, basketball, right? I got an opportunity last year to be the head coach over there to be able to help these young men, right? A school where, the talent might not be there yet, but we're going to develop the talent, with Tyler Benson's help, with Second to None's help, everybody is going to pitch in to make these young men understand that we are there. And that's what Second to None is here for, right? And my brother preaches the E5 movement, right? Education, excellent, effort, encouragement, empowerment, right? So that E5 movement is something that I think that we do not want that to go unnoticed, right?
Facts, 100%.
Because if your education is not where it need to be at, it doesn't matter how talented you are. In today's time, academics is everything. Everything. So, you given the opportunity, bringing your girls' soccer team in the facility, I took it as a challenge. Right. And I took it as a compliment too, because, you trusted me with that group.
Absolutely. No question.
You know what I'm saying? And when you did that, I was just like, I got to do whatever it takes to make sure these young ladies know that, we here.
Absolutely.
And continue to work with them too. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done with that. But Second to None, it's not clients. We build relationships.
Oh, 100%.
We're not out here trying to say, we need 150, 200 clients. I say this story all the time. Give me 60 athletes that want to work. That's all I care for. Give me 60, give me 60. And like I said, Second to None, we continue to build different academies and things like that. The baseball academy is something that's going on. Strength and conditioning agilities is what's the main sole purpose, teaching people how to work, right? Getting people involved on how to work out, right? I am there to oversee, to help with build, the basketball portion academy of Second to None. Because that's what I've been doing for the past 18 plus years, right? So I'm here to build that, but also I'm here to give guidance. We got a couple of nice, pretty much coaches. We got you one of the coaches always been for the 8 years, right? And then we got other coaches. It's funny, he's got the same name.
Tyler. Tyler Campbell.
Tyler is a little young stud, just graduated college. Big shout out to you.
Yeah, big shout out, bro.
That's why we do it, right? We do it because the end goal is not when you finish something, is when you start something else, right? And y'all might not understand that. Y'all might think the end goal. No, the end goal is when you're able to start a new journey. Right? And he's ready to start his new journey. Got Caleb there. We got good young coaches, man, that's going to help Second to None.
100%.
Just go this way, man. You know what I mean? Facts. And that's the reason what Second to None's there for.
Right? 100%. All right, last thing we'll talk about is we never really touched on your basketball coaching at all. I mean, like you said, the last 18 years you've been coaching basketball. When we were talking about your younger years, you mentioned a lot about football, wrestling, but basketball wasn't you played it, but it wasn't like your football, wrestling were your two main things.
Correct.
So what drew you to basketball and what kept you in basketball?
It's funny, man. We had this church, and when we was younger, man, we used to go to every day. Joe Daly, all those guys. We used to just BJ. We used to all go there and just hoop. And we used to go to Taylor Drive, man. Taylor Drive was a spot. It was outdoor court. It was 3 courts. Right. You had the court that the kids just wasn't that good. You had the court in the middle where the older guys was like, yo, y'all got it. Y'all ain't getting on this court. And then you had this court over here where it was competitive, but it wasn't the middle court.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? And the middle court, man. One of the best basketball players that come out of our hometown, man, is Antonio Fitzgerald. Right.
I got you.
This kid's unbelievable stud, right? He was a stud, man. But at a young age, man, it was a straight dog, right?
He's a dog.
And me saying that, people looked up to that. So me growing up, I knew I can play every sport. Right? I never wanted to master a sport. Right? I was just like, I was like, well, I mastered one sport when I can just be good at them all. You know what I mean? And then, because once you dive into one, the expectation becomes different. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm great at football, right? You know what I mean? I ain't gonna be great at nothing else. I'm just known as an athlete, right? And I'm I want to be known as an athlete, right?
Yeah, facts. That's just
what
in
I am.
your DNA.
So, and you can see, man, I've been coaching AAU basketball for a long time, man, and I don't have some guys, man, that really can play basketball. You know what I mean? Bro. But like I said, I'm gonna look and love to try to get those guys on here just to tell you their stories, because a lot of those guys are not playing basketball right now. You know what I'm saying? But what stopped them? But when they was playing, what kept you playing?
Exactly.
And then and a lot of them will tell you that they played for me because I made it fun.
Yeah, you made it.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? It was more educational. The vacations that we all went on, like our families got close.
Yeah.
But it was that. So me coaching at the high school, so I got the opportunity, like I said, to coach over there, T, man, and I wouldn't change it for the world, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was out there most of the games.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I was out there watching you.
You know, my expectations is really, 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 really different than a lot of people's. You know, like it's not about the wins or losses for me. You know, it's about making sure that these young men know that they got somebody in their corner.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. When they leave school, it's a young kid there now. Colton just saw him the other day. I think he was a pretty decent little ball player, man. You know, towards meniscus.
Yeah.
Right. But then he sent me a text, you know, during the season because the season was over, and this has stuck with me for the past like 4 months. Not even lying to you, man. He goes, Coach, I only been knowing you a short period of time, but you're the best coach I ever had.
That's what you do it for, man.
And I'm just tough. Like,
yeah,
come on, man. It's the best coach I ever had, man. That's I wish I'd have met you years ago.
Yeah.
And that's why I won't stop, T.
Yeah. 100%.
That right there is why I won't stop, man. I mean, I can talk all day about what I can do, you know, what I love to do. I'm just giving y'all a short version of what, you know, who I am as an athlete and who I am as a person, a father, a husband, a brother, a child of God, man. This is a short version of me, you know, like, you know, God has a plan for me, and my plan and my purpose, I'm going to continue to live it out. You know, I'm going to follow his steps every single way, T.
Gotcha.
And I'm glad that I was able to, you know, be a part of your journey. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
100%,
and, and that's the reason why this podcast is here, right? Because I would, if your journey is, if you on a journey, our paths will cross, right? Because we all going down this road and we walking on this one road and we don't steer off of it, our journeys and our paths will cross. Yeah. And T, man, like I said, man, that's what I do in a nutshell, man.
Crazy,
yeah, man.
Yeah. So any last shout outs you want to make to people or how you want to?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, you're gonna hear me say it again, man. Like, big shout out to my young boy Noah Kim for starting this whole podcast thing off, man. First one. I think you set the tone, man. So I only wanted to come in and explain to the world, like, you know, why I do what I do. And Coach Tyler, he gonna end up explaining to the world why he do what he do. Yeah. And you see it on my shirt. It's real simple. Write your story, then tell it. Don't let nobody write your story. Don't let anybody write y'all stories. Yeah, bro. Right? Facts. Let somebody tell it, but nobody writes your story. And then go out there and get it. So, like, the last thing I'm gonna leave y'all with, you know, be stronger than your problems. And tell them, now watch me work. That's tough. That's fire. That's what I got, man. That's fire, bro. Yeah. So this is gonna wrap this episode of the podcast. Again, like this podcast and the one after that is just kind of letting you guys get to know us, right? Because we're gonna be the host for everything, but I feel like it's powerful to know like where we came from, and how a lot of these athletes that we're gonna be bringing in, like we've kind of helped them, we've seen them, we've watched them grow. So it's really cool to kind of get the background on us and like how we got started, and the reason why we're doing this podcast in the first place. So I guess without further ado, that's gonna wrap this episode. Yeah, man. Cool. Yeah, I think that's it, man. Like I said, hey, tune in, man. You're gonna see a lot of great things come out of this podcast. I mean, a lot of great young men, young women, even adults. We're gonna bring a lot of people in here to tell their stories, man. Let it be told, man. Absolutely. And these journeys, all right. But with that being said, man, hey, Athletes Vision Podcast, another episode down. Yep. Another one to go, right? Like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Yes, if you're on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you're listening to, make sure you give us a rating, give us a thumbs up, all that other stuff. Yeah, but tap in, man. We'll see you next week. Yes, sir. Peace. Hey, man, appreciate you, baby. Yes, sir.